readers. I just love this man and his knowledge and his joy and passion for life. And I think there's a lot more to share. Like, I wish I could record every single minute I spend with you, because this is so resourceful.
Well,
and I
just
think
have to hang out then.
Yeah, I'll have to hang out more in Maui, but I'm leaving tomorrow for San Francisco. I just love, what you have to share. And we're getting in this other conversation that I felt like my heart light, or however we can call it, just like was telling me, oh my God, let's record this one. So here we are.
So, our last recording was really about following the light.
Mm-hmm.
The light that's looking for us. The light that is guiding us in terms of which way we go, and also illuminating the path. But it's important to realize that just as we have day and we have night, life is not always feels wonderful.
Right.
It just doesn't. And we need to embrace that, because you see, so much of what we hear today, and so many of the healing techniques and so many of the approaches are all about how to change the subject when you don't like what the channel that life has provided you. And we equate our life to a remote control. Oh, I can just change the channel. And we're even given the impression that we have the ability to change the channel any way we want it. But if you look at your life, have you been able to do that? I haven't been able to do that. Do you know anyone that's ever been able to do that? Do you know anyone that is significantly higher than 50-50? Was Jesus able to do that? Was Buddha able to do that? Is the Dalai Lama able to do that? Because if you look at the lives of all the great people, the ones that everyone says, oh, yes, they were enlightened. I don't know if there is enlightenment. Maybe there's just delightment. Maybe they were delighted when they were delighted, and they were able to be with those times that are difficult. If you drop something on your foot, even though we're not our feet, it's going to hurt, and it's not going to be very comfortable. If a parent, God forbid, dies, we're going to mourn. No way to shorten that. Lose our lover. No one feels good about that. No one likes to go to the doctor when the doctor says, by the way, I've just diagnosed that you have. No one says, yeah, bring it on. Bring on the cancer. So it's really important to recognize that just as we have sunshine one day, maybe some clouds the next day, and some rain the next day, and a hurricane the other day, that is not because we fucked up.
Yes.
Don't
take it personally,
It has nothing to do. That just is. And the more we can realize that just as our heart rhythm changes, our brain changes, our blood sugar changes, our muscle tensions change continually, everything in life is continually changing. And the more we recognize that, and the more we see it as change, and we realize that change is a fact, not a problem, the more we're able to embrace that, the easier we breathe. And
then we discover new things. Like, we get out of our comfort zone, we're experiencing a new part of ourselves, our soul.
There's a reason they say crisis leads to opportunity. When a baby is coming through the birth canal, it's not like, come right out. Some come out quicker than others. But it's work to get through that birth canal. Whether you're coming out of your mother or coming into a new part of life. And when life pushes your head underwater, everyone struggles to get the head above so I can breathe. The struggle is not because we're not conscious. The struggle is because the body just struggles. If I hit your knee, your foot goes up. There is nothing you can ever do to stop that. And if I put your head underwater, I don't care how enlightened you are, some part of your body will struggle to get air.
But then we're getting into the survival instinct.
But there, you see, the body...
Survival of the fetus.
What I'm saying is the whole body is designed just like nature. And when something moves towards it, it takes a look to see is it safe. All I'm saying is that we're all going to get sick at times.
Yeah.
We're all going to have all these experiences. No one's going to wake up every day of their life and say, oh, I feel phenomenal. Sometimes you're going to feel depressed. And people are going to say, oh, cheer up, have a drink. Have a this, have a that. There's something magnificent, not about drowning in it, and not about avoiding it or trying to change the subject, about getting comfortable with the fact that life is always changing. And after a while, we're not so affected by these changes. We just realize they come and they go, just like the weather.
Yeah. Yeah, without gaining in scarcity or survival mode or like, oh, there's less for me, there's more for the other. Yeah. Like this whole power struggle thing that is really getting us so far right now into all these world issues.
If every time the mind says, God, you put on some weight, and then you say with the same mind, I'm getting more beautiful every day. They come from the same place. What we call the negative emotions, what we call the positive emotions, they originate from the same place that thinks it is our essence. You know, if we went outside and I said, where is the sun coming from? You would say, oh, right there, the sun. The sun is where the light is coming from. And if we went out at night and we looked up and I said, Lilou, where is the sun coming from? Where is the light coming from? You'd say,
the moon.
But it's not coming from the moon. The moon is only reflecting the sunlight.
Yeah.
So there's a difference between the source of the light and something that looks like the source but isn't.
Yeah.
That's the same thing that happens with the aspect of our consciousness that we're not aware of, non-local consciousness, the infinite field of possibilities, and the aspect of consciousness, local consciousness, that we're aware of, this thing that's chattering. One is the source, and the other one is like an imposter. It is reflecting light based on its ideas. It's sort of like, I don't remember, maybe when you were a child, you were taken to a carnival, and they had this room called the Hall of Mirrors, and you would go inside, and even though you're very tall and thin, you'd stand in front of this mirror, and you would look short and fat, or your body would look distorted. The mind, the conscious mind, does just that. It has a certain idea of what life is supposed to be. And so when the light of source, which has no ideas, reflects off of this mirror that's made up of all these ideas and what we think is right or wrong, it creates a distorted appearance. And that is what's guiding much of, that's what we believe is going on in our life. When we begin to recognize that what is observing life, the eyes of consciousness, if you will, the eyes of awareness, has no point of view. There is no one that's seeing. When we identify with that, all these moment by moment changes that we say is what's constant about life, they just keep changing. And while some of it impacts us more than others, it all starts to have less value. Less value. It just passes. We don't personalize it because we realize it's not us. It's just the part of life that we say is the only constant. Change. So it's important to embrace what we call shit. Because without the shit, the flowers don't grow. And so the difficulties of our life, the part of life when it doesn't feel so sunny, when we're lost, feeling the loss of a relationship or the loss of someone we cared for or the loss of money or the loss of anything, the ability to be with that and to embrace that aspect of life allows us to feel the joy of life fully and allows us to experience a level of bliss which is unrelated to outside events. It's because in order to experience a world that's continually changing, that which notices it has to be non-changing. So our essence, that which sees, what I call the final set of eyes, is not changing. That's why I said before we started filming, so often I see individuals in my life that I've known for a long time, and I can see that the physical body has aged. But I always feel that whatever is seeing, whatever is noticing that,
your essence.
Yeah, well, I don't even know what it is, actually. I couldn't put a name on it. It feels ageless. It feels timeless. It doesn't... I don't even know what it is.
So you don't go into the soul?
These are words. I don't, the words cannot describe the direct experience any more than the menu can describe the food. We try our best, you look at the menu and you say, oh yeah, that's what. But if you ate the menu, it would never be the food. And as much as we can translate with our eyes and our ears and our senses, the direct experience is something of a different level. And, I mentioned before about jellyfish and whales and birds and how they're guided by the light of the sun and the Earth's electromagnetic field and the magnetic pull of the Earth. Well, these animals have a sixth sense. They have something that we've always assumed we didn't have. And they have certain chemicals that are sensitive to this magnetic pull of the Earth and so on. Well, in the last few years, we've discovered that human beings have very high concentrations of the same exact chemicals in the eyes, which means we have the same sixth sense. In Indonesia and in Thailand a few years ago, they had this huge tsunami. 150,000 people were killed. Hardly any animals. 2-3 days before, the animals all went up to the highest mountains. What did they know that we also know? But some people were tuned into it, but most of us, something has fallen asleep.
Yeah, but where's that? Is that light really or heart? Because as you know, the Heart Math Institute has done a lot of things on the heart.
It's literally light.
It's light.
All of that is true. All of that is true.
But the light comes before even the
most
of the heart
fundamental. If you go to a physicist and you say whether the physicist is Einstein or someone living today, and you say, what is the foundation of everything we experience? And they say energy. Everything is just frequency, it's energy. Great. What is that energy? Light. What is
fast light? We're hearing a motorbike in the background.
What is light? They say photons. What is a photon? Well, you can't describe it. It's not a physical thing. It's the smallest thing, but it's not a thing. Well, this is what science tells us right now. Everything is made of something that we cannot describe. So all the things of the world are created from non-things. All the forms are created from something that is formless. And we assume for years the reason we don't get in touch with this is because the eye can only see the forms and the ears can only hear the sound of the motorcycle. But that's not true at all. The eye is designed, and right now the latest research has shown that the eye responds to as few as 3 photons of light. That means that the eye is sensitive enough to pick up the quantum level of reality. That which we don't even have.
Whether we see it or not.
We don't even have equipment that can pick this up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, the physical eye is designed to respond to the formless before it is rendered into form. We are designed to see the invisible. So the potential that we have, it's all built into this. This part of our humanity that knows what we're going to choose 7 to 10 seconds before we make a choice is obviously responding to the invisible. It's not that, oh, we're not in control. It's that our humanity is so far beyond anything we've ever imagined. And it's beyond these simple ideas of I can make a choice. It's this profoundness that, my gosh, these eyes, they can respond to something that is nowhere near anything that looks solid to us. We respond to the most sensitive of things. So you speak about the physical heart. When that is in coherence, it is because our essence is in coherence, and that's when we get tuned in. And all of a sudden we recognize these things that typically are invisible to us. You know? And then we say, oh, these people are psychic or this or that. It's part of our natural makeup. It's the same thing that caused the animals to go to the highest mountains when they sense a tsunami.
Yeah, but as we spoke in the earlier video, like a banana tree can communicate with an apple tree.
Can communicate.
And share
absolutely.
Its information, its juice.
It's absolutely, because you see, that which animates and inspires the apple tree to make apples is the same thing that animates and inspires the banana tree to make bananas. And they do communicate. That's why human beings cut up apples and bananas and pineapples and guavas and make fruit salad. So something has already communicated that, oh, we would go great together. So yes, they do communicate. They have language. We've been fooled into thinking that, we can think, so we're higher than the animals. And actually, animals think. Plants think. I mean, there is some very profound research that's happening in science right now that's allowing us to see that the same consciousness that animates us animates all living things. And the tree can sense things in the same way we do and communicates in a different way, but communicates. So it's magic.
No, we want this to continue. My goodness, this is great.
It will continue in San Francisco.
Yes, it will continue in San Francisco, and then we'll meet again in March in Europe.
Oh yeah, that'll be great.
Yes, I'm doing those live interviews now in front of the audience. And,
I love that.
Parisians love that, and I'm sure you'll be more than welcome there. They'll love you.
It's interesting. I got a hit the other day about a new book, and the title that came through was "The Facts of Life." an intimate inquiry into life's most important questions. I love what you're doing in France in terms of not only an interview, but what starts off as a dialogue becomes a trialogue.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. The fact that there is like 300 people there, it just like empowers the conversation.
It's
unbelievable. Just unbelievable. I would have never thought this. And I really believe I prepared for 10 years doing interviews just for that, to be able to be with that energy, because it's strong.
That's what I love doing with a live audience.
Yeah.
I'm feeling that rather than the old format of... everything that I do is live. I have no idea what's going to happen before I sit down. I don't think about it or anything. But I thought, yes, if something comes up, share it. But the interactive piece is so exquisite.
And even if they're not speaking, just the listening changes the whole conversation.
Absolutely. It's profound.
It's profound.
Yeah.
Thank you, and you're profound. I love it. Mwah. Mwah. Big kiss to all of you Justico creators out there. We love you. Big kisses. And I think it's bye-bye Maui for now.
Bye-bye Maui.
Bye-bye. Much love.